This is 120 amp hour. It's all very confusing with these numbers. Long story short, it's a new i3 sportier edition. Does about 150 to 170 miles to a fill, and that's with driving like you stole it. So a very usable little city car this is. And this video is 5 things I love about it. Number 1 on my top 5 things I really love about this car is just how easy it is to live with. Coming from a petrolhead background, we have a Tesla Model S and absolutely adore it. The problem with the S is it's a big car, and in the UK our parking spaces are quite small. So having something like this for running errands around town and just general ease of use is just brilliant. It's really tempting us. You can park in any car parking space. You're not trying to find a see, indicators, they do work. So you're not trying to run around a car park trying to find a space big enough or on its own to park the Tesla. You just chuck this anywhere. Obviously being fully electric, it's effortless to use. Just stick it on charge overnight or use one of the rapid chargers whilst you're doing your shopping. It's just a really easy car to live with, but that doesn't mean it's boring, which is something that gets criticized about electric vehicles quite a lot. Now obviously the Tesla has the trump card of being pretty quick, whereas on paper this isn't. It's still nippy. You know, it's under 7 seconds to 60. So, you know, it wasn't that long ago that you were talking about hot hatches being about that sort of speed. So, yeah, that's it. Number 1, how easy it is to live with. Point number 2 on why I love this i3 is it has a usable range around the town of Milton Keynes, which is where I am now, of over 150 miles. Now, you've got to, if you come from a petrol or diesel background and you're used to having 500 miles in the tank, you need to change that way of thinking. You've got to think about your daily use because you charge it up every night. So it is incredibly rare that I do over 150 miles in a day, and that's the same for pretty much 99% of the country. You can charge really effortlessly on the rapid chargers. To do a complete 0 to 80-90% charge is about 40 minutes for this car. So you have a stop, you have some lunch, and you charge up and you can carry on with your journey. Obviously I'm coming from 8 months now of Tesla ownership, so I'm fully into the electric thing. It has made our life so much easier, to the point that our 2 existing petrol cars, we just dread having to fill them up, so we just don't, and we get down to about 10 miles of range and then have to fill it up. So it is just nice to have an electric, never mind the benefits for the environment, which are huge, and the benefits for your local sort of family and local environment. We've noticed a massive difference. So yeah, number 2, really usable electric range. So point number 3, why I really like this BMW i3s, is it's a fun car to drive. And on paper, you know, 7 or so seconds to 60 doesn't sound mega quick, but you've got to remember it's electric, so you get the torque from 0. So the usable speeds that you're going to do around town, it is quicker than most cars. I've yet to feel I was holding up traffic in this. Quite often I feel like I'm overtaking traffic. Coming to a roundabout now, and you really can throw it in. Granted, this is the i3s, so it's the sportier one. it really does handle well, which is surprising because the tyres are incredibly narrow. They're probably half the width of the Tesla tyres, for example. But you can just really throw it into roundabout if you wanted to. Normal driving, like, there seems to be an obsession with how good a car drifts. This is a city car, you know, this is not going to be drifted, and if you do drift it around roundabouts, you know, with other people on the road and stuff, you're a bit of a tit, really. Save that for track days. So for the normal envelope of driving fun, this is brilliant. I don't know really what more to say. I really quite enjoy driving it. It's something that really grows on me. When I first sat in the car, I thought that the floor was too high, so my feet felt up by the elbows, and I spent a bit of time adjusting the driver's seat and playing with the height. Normally what I do when I get into a new car is I drop the seat down because I'm quite tall, and then forward and back for the pedals, and then adjust the steering wheel to suit. With this, I left the seat up a little bit, and it feels really natural now. You know, my wife's driven it, she absolutely loves it, and it's looking quite likely as our next sort of city car. So yeah, point number 3 is it's a good fun car to drive. It really is. Right, point number 4. Now, this is an interesting one, and the i3 is quite a Marmite car, and I really didn't like the look of it from the side, and if I'm honest, I still don't. It doesn't flow as nicely as I would have expected. And then I started using one, and it clicked why they've done this. They have not done the back window so much bigger than the front window to annoy people and make it a car that people don't like the look of. They've done it for the kids. It's just brilliant for kids. Like, if we go out in the Tesla, my youngest, who's 3, in her car seat, can't see anything out the window. Her eyes are just too low. My 5-year-old can, but she still has to sort of do this to sort of get a good look at stuff, but the 3-year-old can't see anything. In this, blimey, they've both got brilliant views, and that changes everything. I'm not buying this car just for me, I'm buying this for me, my wife, and our girls, and having that visibility out of the rear window really appeals to me, because the girls can enjoy the drive a lot more. If we go past, you know, fields of sheep, they can look out and look at them, you know, they can really take in the environment a lot more. And I've noticed, especially my youngest has been looking around a lot more when she's been in this car, and that's a really good selling point, and that alone makes the car worthwhile for me, and makes that slightly quirky Marmite look from the side irrelevant. So yeah, I think the quirky looks, the rest of it I actually think is really good looking. I think the front and the back are spot on. Very short nose, but you've got no motor in the front. You've got a useless frunk, which is a bit disappointing. But it's a nice short snout of the car, which makes parking and just general use really easy. So yeah, quirky looks, but there's a reason behind them, and that reason is a really good one. So that gets a thumbs up from me. Point number 5 is it's just nice to go fully electric. I don't believe in this self-charging rubbish. They're still petrol cars. You are still burning petrol and diesel to move your car around, and you don't need to do that anymore. Electric cars are, you know, are plenty good enough to replace petrol cars for 99% of people who are going to be buying them. They talk about, you know, things like lithium and the lithium mines, and yeah, that sucks, but you can reuse batteries. You know, even BMW talk about having a scheme where you can trade in a smaller battery pack and buy a bigger one, and the smaller one we put into a home storage battery. That's really cool. You know, these batteries are going to be used almost forever. Whereas if you fill up with a gallon of petrol or diesel, it's gone. You know, you burn it off, goes up in the atmosphere and screws up the planet. I'm still a petrol head. I still love motorsport. If you gave me the keys to a Ferrari, I'd drive it straight away. I'm not perfect on, you know, the eco scale, but Kate and I have definitely made a conscious decision that where we can make a difference without even a massive downside, we should. You know, so if you're looking at one of these and maybe considering a hybrid or petrol or diesel, just have a think, or be really selfish and think about you. So with electric cars, you can turn them on and defrost them in the morning without, you know, clogging your driveway up full of fumes. That's really nice. You know, you can leave it plugged in and, you know, preheat them. It's brilliant. And the cost is another benefit. So if you're selfish on that level, then, you know, your fuel bill is going to basically drop to about 25% of what it is now. I'm a real convert. You know, I think for classic cars and, you know, things like Ferraris, you're not going to get that experience in an electric car. Well, until Tesla bring out the Roadster 2 anyway. So for now, yeah. But for everything else, just go electric. Charge at home, and for most days you'll never need to do anything else. If you do need to use a Rapid, they're getting better and better all the time. So yeah, point 5, not so much about the car, more about electric vehicles in general, but they are a really wonderful thing to live with. And again, I've paid for this rental, but I'm a big fan of the guys and girls in the EV City Centre in Milton Keynes. So if you want to try an electric car, pop down there and, you know, have a look. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video about 5 things I really like or even love about the BMW i3s. I'm basically just a petrol head who's discovered electric cars, and for 99% of the time they are just so much better than petrol and diesel. And if you've got any questions, feel free to contact me. All the details are down below. So thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.